Let's talk about the invisible prison being built all around us. Seriously, it's not made of steel or concrete, it's made of code and data. And right now, it's making decisions about who gets to be free and who doesn't. So today, we are pulling back the curtain on this new digital police state. The computer got it wrong. Just imagine hearing those 5 words, but only after your life has already been turned completely upside down. Because this isn't some dystopian movie we're watching. This is real life. This is happening in our communities. A simple computer error became a black man's absolute nightmare, and it exposes a system that we have got to put under a microscope. So we're going to break down exactly how this happened, who's getting rich off of it, and what it really means for you and me. And hey, as we get into it, if you think this is a conversation our community needs to have, go ahead and hit that like button. Share this with your people, and please subscribe. We're building something special here, and your voice is a huge part of it. Let us know in the comments what other topics you want us to dig into next. Okay, so first things first. Let's talk about the human cost of a false match. Because this isn't about ones and zeros, you know? It's about real people, real families, and the kind of trauma that sticks with you. Okay, just walk through this with me because the details are actually chilling. So back in 2018, someone steals some watches. Fast forward 2 years, Robert Williams is getting arrested on his own front lawn, right in front of his wife and his 2 little girls. He gets thrown in an overcrowded cell for 30 hours, 30, with no earthly idea why he's even there. I mean, think about that for a second. The system is so fast it can snatch a man from his family in minutes, but so broken it takes more than a day just to tell him the charge. And the evidence that kicked this whole thing off? This is the crazy part. It was one single, blurry, low-quality picture from a surveillance camera. Not a clear shot, not an eyewitness ID, a grainy photo. That's it. And that leads to the biggest question of all, right? How does that, a blurry picture, become enough evidence to arrest a man in front of his family? How does that become probable cause? Well, the answer is in the technology itself. We have to look inside what's basically a biased black box. See, these algorithms, they aren't neutral. They are built on a shaky foundation that can literally hard-code our society's worst biases into the system. It's how code calcifies inequality. And this is where a concept called automation bias comes in. It's a weird thing our brains do. We just tend to trust what the computer says, even when our own eyes are telling us something different. The officers even said later that Williams was plainly not the man in the security footage. But in that moment, they trusted the machine's output over the human being standing right there. And if you want to see what that looks like in the real world, look no further. This data comes from Compass. It's a tool used in courtrooms all over the country. And what does it show? It shows that black defendants were almost twice as likely to be wrongly flagged as high risk to reoffend. I mean, look at the numbers. 45% for us versus about 24% for white defendants. The system is getting it wrong, and it is getting it wrong for us way more often. So what's the deal? Why is this happening? Well, the problem is the data. It's the old saying, right? Garbage in, garbage out. These AIs are trained on old arrest records. But here's the thing. Arrest records don't show you where crime is happening. They show you where police have been. So the algorithm doesn't learn to predict crime. It learns to predict policing. And that creates this dangerous feedback loop that just keeps targeting the same communities over and over again. Now, this isn't just a story about bad tech. Nope, it's also a story about big business. And to understand what's really going on, we have to follow the money. We're about to see how the prison industrial complex is going digital. So let's look at the players. These are the new digital jailers. You've got the GEO Group, which used to just be a private prison company. Now they're selling GPS monitoring apps. You have Palantir, this super secretive company, building AI profiles for agencies like ICE. And then there's SoundThinking, with their ShotSpotter tech that literally listens for gunshots, putting our neighborhoods under constant audio surveillance. And just so we're clear on the scale we're talking about, the GEO Group alone rakes in $2.42 billion a year. Let that sink in. This isn't some small tech startup. This is a massive industry built on surveillance and control. And who's bankrolling all of this? Surprise, surprise, the money trail leads right to Wall Street. We're talking private equity giants, huge institutional investors like BlackRock. They're the biggest shareholders, and they are pouring gas on the fire, funding the growth of this digital net that's being cast over our communities. All that investment has created a brand new market. They're calling it E-Carceration. And the sales pitch is simple. Why pay to build and run a physical jail cell when you can build a digital prison for way cheaper and keep all that profit rolling in? So what does a digital prison even feel like? Well, its walls are made of data. First, you've got geofencing, AI watching your every move, creating invisible fences you can't cross. Then there are biometric check-ins. Your phone literally becomes your parole officer. It's even getting to the point of physiological monitoring, wearables that track your heart rate looking for signs of guilt. And finally, automated compliance, where an algorithm decides if you're following the rules, with no room for human context at all. Experts have a name for this. They call it a comprehensive tracking ecosystem. And they say it can be even more intrusive than physical detention. Wow. So in some ways, it's actually worse than being behind bars. So you have to ask yourself, right? When they sell this to us as an alternative to incarceration, is it really freedom or is it just a longer, higher-tech leash? Okay, so where does this all go from here? Because the fight over this technology is happening as we speak, and the rules are changing fast. Any protections we thought we had, they're being taken away. Just look at this contrast. The Biden administration had an executive order that was focused on safe, secure, and trustworthy AI. It specifically said we had to deal with civil rights and algorithmic bias. Well, that order's been revoked. It was replaced with a new one that's all about removing barriers and letting the market run wild. The message couldn't be clearer. Go fast and don't let civil rights slow down profits. And the private sector is more than ready to run. We're now seeing things like the Stargate project, a $500 billion project to build a new AI supercomputer. This isn't just about making AI faster. It's about building the engine that will power all of these surveillance systems on steroids. The scale is just, it's hard to even wrap your head around. And that leaves us with the one question that really matters through all of this. When our justice system becomes automated, when it becomes profitable, and when the humans in the loop get pushed out, who does a system like that truly serve? Does it serve our community, or does it just serve a corporation's bottom line? The future here isn't written yet. We still have the power to demand better answers. It is so critical that we aren't just reacting to this technology. We have to be leading the conversation. Thank you for being part of a Black Girls Guide's mission to bring awareness to our community and put us in the driver's seat of emerging technology.